Hi, I'm Troy with Tsunami Compressed Air Solutions. We get occasional calls throughout the years about people wondering whether or not their dryer seems to be letting out more regeneration air than is expected or anticipated. And with the mufflers that we use on our drying systems, the audible sound is a little bit different. So one easy way to make sure that your dryer seems to be purging the right amount is to take the mufflers off and listen as the dryer purges from side to side. Take note, when the mufflers are off, the initial blast is quite loud. So if you have some hearing protection, put it on temporarily and then remove it when you're trying to gauge whether or not one tower seems to be sweeping more air than the other. I've got our Pier 10 and I've got our Pier 5 on display. I'm going to walk you through some of the issues. So one of the things that can cause this phenomenon is in regards to the spring that allows the piston to help assist it back into its normal state of rest, so that the dryer is the tower is in a drying mode. Sometimes when a system's building up from zero, as the whole system is pressurizing from zero, the piston pilot signal has to overcome that spring constant, they call it, which is basically the energy it takes to push the piston past the resistance of the spring and actually close off the inlet air to the dryer to put the tower into a regeneration, where we're using dry air to flow through the tower to discharge through the mufflers. So this dryer is hooked up right now and you can barely hear the sweep air going into it. But when I take the muffler off, I'll get my mic up a little closer, you can hear the sound of that sweep air. And so you see the mufflers do a pretty good job of removing that sound and mitigating it. But when we take the other tower off, I'm going to cycle it. Now if you unplug your Pure Series dryers, you can use the red button on the bottom of the air valve to manually cycle it. If you have one of our Ultra Series, which runs with the PLC, you're going to just basically want to take your mufflers off and then let the dryer cycle, and that's where that purge is going to happen. Because I don't have hearing protection on, I'm going to discharge it and then remove the muffler to show you what that sounds like. So now you can see the audible difference between this. So this is a piston that I've simulated losing an O-ring, and it's allowing system pressure to bypass the O-ring used to seal off the inlet air, and it's just immediately discharging through the muffler. Now in the circumstance of building up from zero, the piston hits an equilibrium to where the inlet pressure and the pilot pressure are equal, so the piston almost gets kind of held in flux. So there again, I've switched to the other piston, and you can see the sound is slightly less when the muffler's off. And so that's what it sounds like on a Pure 10. Next we're going to go through and show you what it sounds like on a Pure 5 system using the different mufflers. I'm going to show you and let you listen to what it sounds like when a Pure 5 series dryer has some sort of piston issue. There again, the same thing can happen. You could have an issue where the inlet pressure as you're building up from zero isn't enough to overcome the spring that is used to help the piston retract to a normal state and let the tower go into a drying mode. Another instance that can occur is the piston can lose the sealing O-ring at the very tip of that piston, which when the piston moves forward, that O-ring blocks off the inlet air and then opens up the mufflers and allows the regen air to sweep out through it. We use the mufflers to contain the noise. So right now this tower, the left tower, is in a regeneration mode. I'm going to pull my mic out so you can get a little better opportunity to listen to it. And as you can see, that sweep volume's pretty low, and I'm going to remove the muffler now. Again, very imperceptible. That's the one thing about the Tsunami regenerative dryers. We use a lot less sweep air than most other systems. And here again, I'm going to do the exact same thing and manually cycle the drain or the air valve for the discharge. Now you can audibly hear the difference in the muffler. With the muffler off, it gets quite loud. And you'll notice that where there was one piston O-ring on our Pier 10 series, the Pier 5 is a little more audible. We're using the same shop air. Everything is identical as far as the bore and the pistons and the springs. It's just every system's going to kind of vary, and so you kind of got to gauge it. And you're really comparing one tower to the other to determine whether there's an issue or not. There's that loud expulsion of air. And now this tower is going back into its normal mode. And it's quite noticeable, the difference. If you have any questions, give us a call at 1-800-782-5752 or check us out online at tsunami.us.com. Have a great day.